Thought I'd roast up a leg of lamb today. Now I have done a recipe for a leg of lamb with rosemary and garlic. This one's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be using lemon, fresh oregano and garlic. So what we're going to do is make up a sort of herby paste, make a lot of little stab marks in the actual leg of lamb, and then we're going to push in all these lovely flavours, and it's just going to really flavour up that meat. Now once we finish cooking the meat, we're going to take it out of the baking tray, and then I'm going to use a can of tomatoes, put some olives in there, some black olives, and a little bit more of this oregano to make a sort of little sauce that you can serve with it. I'm going to serve mine up with some roast potatoes and some salad, and it's going to be delish. So the first thing I want to do is just quickly go through the ingredients. Now I've got my leg of lamb there, and that weighs just over 2 kilos, and when that's roasted up, it's going to look delicious. Now what we're going to do is flavour up this leg of lamb with some herby paste. We're going to make this really simple to do. Now I'm going to use whole garlic. It's not particularly big garlic, but peel those, crush them down. I'm going to use about half of that bunch of fresh oregano. Now if you can get fresh oregano, it will taste so much more flavoursome. If you can't, obviously use the dried one. I got mine out of the garden. It's really easy to grow, so if you like oregano, grow it yourself. It's a doddle. Then I've got my lemon. Now I'm going to zest the outside of the lemon, so all the yellow bits, grate it, and that just really gives a lovely sort of flavour. And then squeeze all the juices, and you're going to have a beautiful herby paste. Now with the herby paste, what you want to do is get yourself a knife, and we're going to make some incisions all over the sort of lamb leg, and then stuff in all this herby paste, and it's going to really flavour up the inside. Then we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, and that's beautiful. It's simple and it's delicious. Now once you've roasted up your leg of lamb, take it out of the baking tray, and then we're going to add a can of tomatoes, and we're going to add some black olives and a little bit more of this oregano. Serve the tomato sauce up along with the roasted lamb, roast potatoes and a bit of salad. It's as simple as that, and it is delicious. So now I've gone through the ingredients. What I'm going to do is clear the decks, and we're going to start crushing up the garlic and make up this really lovely herby paste. Now to crush it all up, I'm going to use a pestle and mortar. Really useful. One of the best things you can have in the kitchen for crushing up all your sort of garlics and stuff like that. Now with the garlic, I'm going to peel it, take the cloves out, put them in there and just sort of start crushing those down first of all. So I've peeled all my garlic cloves, and I've roughly got about, I don't know, 7 there, 7 or 8. So I put those in. Then I've got the oregano. Now I'm going to keep a little bit back because I want to add some of that in with the tomato sauce later on, and the rest of it I'm just going to strip the leaves off, put them in there, and then we're going to zest the lemon. So I've got my oregano leaves. Wow, they smell beautiful, beautiful. Now incidentally, when you do those, you can just strip them, go against the grain, and they fall in. Doesn't matter if you get a little bit of stalk in there, it's not the end of the world. Now I'm going to get on with the lemon. So get me sort of, the thing you'd use for grating your cheese grater, and we're just going to zest the outside. So I've got the zest of the lemon. I'll just show you. Use the sort of cheese grater, and we've got all the sort of skin off. Try to leave the white bit behind if you can, because generally the white bit makes it a bit sort of sour tasting, but just put that in there, and then we can just start crushing it. Now when I'm crushing this, I'm going to do it off camera because, to be honest here, it shakes the table, makes a lot of noise, and at the end of the day we just want to make it into a paste. So what I'm going to do is just kind of initially sort of stamp it down and try and break the garlic up, and then we can start pounding it. So as I say, I won't do it in front of you because it just makes too much noise. So I've crushed this up. I've been sort of pounding it and got it nice and fine, really, nice and fine. Now, next thing I'm going to do, got my lemon. Now with your lemon, just kind of roll it around and make it a bit sort of soft, and that way you get a lot more of the juice out. So do like that. Now I'm going to be careful in case it's too juicy. I'm just going to squeeze that in there. I mean, if you can, squeeze it in your hand as hard as you can, and that way you don't get too many pips. Your fingers act like a filter. Give it a good hard squeeze. Try and get it all out. That's it. Now I've got most of that out there, just so you can get the last bit. That's it. we're done. Now also to this mixture, just going to add a little bit of olive oil. Don't go overboard, just a little bit, and just swoosh that around. And there you go, you've got your nice herby paste. Smells absolutely beautiful. I wish you could smell it. Ooh, have a look at that. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring me a piece of lamb, the lamb leg, and we're going to start making some incisions, little cuts, and then we're going to try and stuff as much of that in the little sort of cuts we make. So let's bring the lamb and put it on a sort of baking tray so it's all ready. So I've got my knife and I'm just going to make some little cuts. And where we've made these cuts, I'm going to try and push all those lovely flavours of that paste that we've just made in there. Now the next job is to get all that sort of lovely sort of herby paste and try and push it as far inside as you can. Right, I'm going to scoop some of that paste out, and I'm initially going to just lay it on top, just try and squeeze it into the holes. I mean obviously it's difficult because you know the holes are not that easy to access, and you want to just try and work them in with your fingers, just sort of rub it in. The further you can get it in, the better really, because it's going to flavour up that meat. So just sort of rub it around. I think what I'm going to also do is just make some little incisions this way as well, so we can really get it in the meat. I'm just going to give that a good rubbing, try and massage it in there, try and get it in wherever I can really. Now let's just turn this over, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now what I'm going to do is quickly wash my hands, and then I'm going to just put a little bit of olive oil over the top of it and a bit of salt and pepper. You don't need a lot of oil because you know lamb is quite a fatty sort of meat anyway, but just a little bit, help it along. And then we're going to put a good bit of salt on there, and I've got some black pepper. Plenty of that. And there you go. That is ready to go to put in the oven. Now I'm going to switch my oven on and get it preheated. Now switch my oven on, I've sort of preheated it. Now generally when I'm doing a big piece of meat, like a big piece of lamb leg, turn the temperature right up, give it a kickstart for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now cooking time, with this piece of lamb, it weighs about 2 kilos. Now what I would say is for every half a kilo, you want to cook it for about 25-30 minutes per half a kilo. Now as this weighs about 2 kilos, that equals roughly about 2 hours cooking time, plus you add on about another 25-30 minutes. So roughly a 2 kilo piece of lamb leg, you want to be cooking for about 2 hours 10 minutes to 2 hours 30 minutes, depending how you like it cooked. But let's get the oven really nice and hot, pop it in there and get it cooking. So as I say, I've got the oven on maximum temperature at the moment, only for the first 10 minutes. So pop the piece of lamb in there, give it a good kickstart. So now I've given the lamb a bit of a kickstart. Turn the temperature down to 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, gas mark 4, and as I say, with the piece of lamb I've got, roughly want to cook for about 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe 2 hours and 30 minutes. So roughly about halfway through the cooking. Now let's just pull this out. It's smelling beautiful. Oh, delicious. Now I think it's a good time to turn piece of lamb around, so just carefully turn that around, and then what I'm going to do is got some boiled potatoes, just going to kind of squeeze those in, just move them around a little bit. Squeeze a few more in there. Give it a and then carry on cooking really. So I've finished cooking my lamb. Let's have a little look. Let's pull it out. Oh, beautiful smells. Look at that. That has got a beautiful colour on it. Now, I ended up cooking mine for 2 hours and 15 minutes rather than the full 2.5 hours. So let's put it on the table. Now, I'm just going to transfer me a piece of lamb. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Now, we need to let this rest a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put a little bit of tin foil over there. Very loosely, let it rest, because that kind of tenderises it. So leave that. Now, with the potatoes, I'm going to pop them back in the oven, just to kind of brown them up a little bit more. So leave the lamb, and let's get the potatoes looking a bit more sort of, you know, nice and brown and yummy. Now, I'm trying to drag out the potatoes. Oh, really hot, really hot. Oh, well, it's more lovely. Now, with these roast potatoes, let's just, I'm going to put them all around actually. Oh, lovely. Going to put the bit of tin foil back on there. Now, all these lovely juices, I'm going to make a really lovely sauce. I'm going to add some tomato in there and it's going to be beautiful. So let's go over to the hob and start cooking it up and make something really scrummy. Now I'm going to try and make a really nice sauce to go with this lovely meal. So let's just switch it on. Now I've got me tomato, that's a can of tomatoes. These were like plum tomatoes and I've actually sort of used me sort of masher to actually sort of squash them down. Now I'm going to just pour in that. Get it all out. A little bit of water in there. I've got the old can, I'll put a bit of water in there because what you want to do is get all those flavours from the bottom. It's going to be delicious. Turn it up a little bit. Now I think to this I'm going to add some olives. Give it a lovely colour and of course, you know, olives give a lovely flavour as well. So just got to stir around. I'd say cook it for a good 5 minutes, try and thicken it up a little bit and then we're going to taste it. Now what I'd say is give it a good mix up, get all those flavours everywhere really. Try and loosen the bits off the bottom because they're the bits that have got really lovely flavours. Try and scrape them off the bottom. Look at that. Little bits of garlic, the oregano. Oh, that's really good. Just give that. Hold it a little bit. Really get those bits off the bottom. Just let that thicken up a little bit and I think that'll really be delicious to serve. Let me just try and see how it tastes. Nice. Oh, that's nice. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt. Not too much. Now I'm just going to turn that off because I think that's pretty much done really. So turn it all off. Look at that. Beautiful. Got a really nice sauce. Obviously if you want it a little bit thicker, just cook it for a little bit longer, but I think with those olives and all the flavours from the lamb, that is going to be delicious. Now I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to go over and make the salad. Now I'm going to serve this up. Let's have a look what we've got here. First of all, we've got the roast potatoes and got that lovely bit of lamb, so let's just put a couple of these on. Oh, looks really nice. Now with the lamb, we left it for about 20 minutes for it to kind of tenderise. And I can tell you this is going to be absolutely beautiful. But I'll put a piece on the outside so you can see what it's like. Excuse my knife, it's not very sharp. But it's beautiful lamb. Look, lovely. And then we've got Yorkshire puddings, you've got little ones and you've got big ones. And then we've got the salad, really nice salad. We've done the lettuce with balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and a little bit of salt. Oh, so simple but really delicious. And then I've got this really nice tomato sauce that we made up with all those juices from the lamb. Now I was going to put it in a separate pot, but I'm going to leave it like that. So I've got it all laid out there. Now let's just try a bit of this lamb, because really that's what the video is all about. It's very tender. Let me just try that. Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Gotta try one of these roast potatoes. I love me roast potatoes. Really nice. And again, we've got this really delicious sauce, kind of like Spanish, Greek, whatever. Now this salad with balsamic vinegar, bit of olive oil and salt, that's a typical sort of Spanish one. Very simple, but really delicious. And then you've got my Yorkshire puddings. I mean, these got to be English. They're so simple to do. I've got a couple of videos for those, so if you want to see anime Yorkshire puddings, very simple, it's unbelievable. Ah, that is absolutely lovely. Let's just get some of that sauce on the lamb. And I'm going to bring it close to really kind of tease you a little bit. Doesn't that look good? So I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching my videos. All the best, the original Naked Chef.